one set of circle. Those are big chairs.
Okay.
You guys don't, you have to kind of, you're too far away to manage that. Perfect. Okay, you can go back to your computers in a minute. Don't worry. We're not permanently separating you. Marcus. Okay, can we? Okay, so how many have you have been to an open space technology type event before? Only good. Okay, so this is a method to support a community making an agenda together, and it was actually innovated by a man named Harrison Owen, who he spent a year organizing a conference with speakers and panels and all the sort of traditional conference stuff. And at the end of it all, the part people liked best were the coffee breaks. And so he had actually traveled to Africa and seen small village communities organize their time together, and both with that as an inspiration and his own desire to, what he tuned into the coffee breaks were the exciting part. This is a format that attempts to bring that coffee break aliveness to the main part of the conference. And so how we're going to do this is, in a minute, I'm going to invite all of you who have something you want to discuss with others here, a question that you might have that you'd like people to answer, or something that you actually want to present and share and maybe get some feedback on. Any of those format options are available to you, plus any others you want to make up. Invite you to write the name of that on the card as well as your name, and we'll hear from everybody who has an idea. And then after we hear from everybody, we'll put them on the agenda wall, which is right here, and you'll pick a time. We'll figure out the exact times, but we'll have session 1, 2, and 3, and then and a space. So I've already labeled the spaces. So over by the window is A, then there's space B. C is this table, D, E, and F, those two tables. Okay? And so you, as the person convening the session, will get to pick a time and a place. And if you didn't pick the time and place, you don't get to move someone else's. You can lobby them to move their session, but you can't move it for them. Does that make sense? Okay. And then we're also going to ask people to take notes. Yes? And send them in. So are you going to collect the notes from the session as they email them to you? Yes? And then hopefully we can have some notes about each of the sessions. And even if you don't take notes throughout the sessions, it would be great if you recorded some outcome or key resources that would be helpful to other people who want to understand the conversation anyway. Yeah.
Is there a Twitter hashtag thing that we should use?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, get the like get the
Hash and GET.
yeah, like here.
Get decent. Okay.
And then there's some principles that help open space work really well. So I wrote them up on the wall behind there. Whoever comes to your session are the right people. This includes if no one comes, you are invited to write a mini manifesto and send it in because you're just that ahead of your time that nobody else is going to. Even if 2 people come, that's cool. You're going to have the most amazing conversation with them because they were the right people to come to your session. So this is not a popularity contest. We're not going to vote anything on silent. Everything's welcome. Whatever happens is the only thing that could happen. This is an invitation to hold your own agenda lightly. On the other hand, there's also something to be said for if you hold the session with an intention supporting some of that happening and not letting the conversation go completely over to somewhere else. When it starts is the right time, and whenever it's over, it's over. So we are going to have a schedule with start times. So when you put a session in a particular time, you're agreeing to be in that time and place to support the conversation starting. But as people come to start, we're not going to, well, we'll see. Sometimes, most of the time in open space, people just shift when it's a time, but that is easier when it's a larger group. So we might sort of be like, okay, the session's over and shift. On the other hand, this is why we don't do this, right? Is when it's over, it's over. So it's really, this means two things. One, if the session's an hour and you answered the thing that brought you together in 15 minutes, go do something else interesting. You do not have to fill an hour of time. If it's not finished in an hour, you're free to continue the conversation and shift to a space in the room that's open that other people aren't coming to convene in at that time. So feel free also to use the infrastructure that is here to support continued conversations afterwards if the conversation's that alive. And then, there. So the law of motion and responsibility is also really important. If you aren't learning or contributing in your session, it is your responsibility to respectfully find some place that you are. And this is an invitation to go against the sort of typical, I'll be really polite and stay model that's typical in our culture, to invite you to really follow your own inner passion and center and go where you need to be to have a good experience. The other thing that's also true is with this is that there's no complaining at the end of the day that the subject you hoped would be discussed or talked about didn't get time, because it's up to you, it's your responsibility to put it on the agenda. You're responsible for your own getting what you need out of this time and space. And then we have the be prepared to be surprised. Interesting things usually always happen. And there's two little characters there, the butterfly and the bumblebee. And you actually do not have to go to a session at all. You can just sit there like a beautiful butterfly and have amazing hallway conversations. That's just the most part of the time. And feel free to be a bumblebee to buzz between the sessions at the same when they're ongoing, to cross-pollinate if that's what you feel like doing, or if you want to see more than one session at the same time, that's totally another reason to just get up and shift between them. So with that, are there any questions before we make the agenda?
What does this A, B, C, D, E, F in relation to session 1, 2, 3 actually stand for?
So those are sessions. These are time slots.
These
These are time slots. These are spaces. So you have a time-space grid, and you're going to write what you would like to talk about. We're going to hear from everybody, and then you're going to pick a time and a space.
Yeah, okay.
So E3 would be this, and then you put it under here, and then. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. So each time slot is how long?
We haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
I was going to do that calculation as you're writing up your sessions right now. Okay? Cool. So if you would like to host a session, you do not have to be the expert on the topic. You just have to be passionate enough to convene it. So get a sheet and pen.
Do we write our name on here?
Right? the session title and your name. Okay, this side of the room. I know you are full of passion about this.
All right.